welcome. This is Dirnan playing Transport Fever 2, a new game to my channel. Thought I'd try it out and see how far we can get going in this series. Transport Fever 2 is a game where you own a transport company and you are trying to move things and people from place to place all over the map, and you get paid for doing that. I've played through a few of the campaign missions and tried out a few map sizes and map things to get going, and we'll get going here. So you start out by creating what the map's going to look like, and I usually change this randomly until I get a river that I like in this area in case I want to use ships to move stuff. This one's cool, goes straight up and down, and then there's some tributaries. But we'll keep hitting this until we get something that we like. Hey, that's nice, just a simple fork. There are different map sizes that you can choose from tiny, which is a 4 kilometer by 4 kilometer map. And down at the bottom it tells you how many towns and how many industries are going to be in here, which you can also change from low to very high for both of those. And you can also change the proportion of the map. So this is 1.5 kilometers by 7.5 kilometers. And so it changes what it looks like, and this just has a river cutting across it. Because usually it's this tiny map, and then if we go back up to very large, it's just this tiny little area down here. That's the gist of it. You can also change their sliders for hilliness, water, and forests. I'll leave those as they are, and we'll get to the next screen where you choose which type of vehicles you want, either European, USA, or Asian. You can also change what year you start in. I'm going to start all the way back in 1850, where we pretty much have horses pulling everything, and I think one train option. The difficulty I'll just leave at medium, because I think 1850 is pretty tough to start at, because as I said, you just have horses and trains. So let's get going and start this game. Okay, when you first start in on a map, there are lots of pop-ups that randomly come up, and I haven't figured out how to get them to not pop up. So they'll probably come up as I'm touring around this beautiful land that we've joined into, with the river that forks here and has some cities and some industries. The cities are marked by their names and having 2 products next to them. The products tell you what that city needs in order for it to grow. And there are other things that dictate that as well, about if they have road connections and traffic, and if their stuff is too loud, like you got a train that rolls right through the town, they don't like that. Then we have industries. Industries, I would say, are broken up into 2 different tiers. Things that just produce things automatically, and then things that require other products to make new products. So the food processing plant takes the wheat, grain, whatever, and makes it into bread. Then you can ship the bread to a city that, like Montgomery, that's what they want in order to grow. I have played the game. I do know that there are a few places to make some good money early on. There's some easy ones that you want to look out for, such as moving grain to a food processing plant to a city. And if you can do that relatively easily with trucks, that makes you consistent money. But the big money is when you can move stuff by train. And you usually want to find a good combination of things. And I will find one, and then I'll show you what I mean when I find one. Okay, I found this tool factory. The tool factory requires planks. The planks come from a sawmill. Seems easy enough. I could move the logs to here, move the planks to here, and then I'd have tools. Tools can go to Costa Mesa, or to Yonkers, or Columbia. There's lots of places that it can go. But that's not going to earn me a whole lot of money if I'm using a train to move a whole bunch of logs to here, and then half as many planks to here, because the sawmill takes 2 logs to turn it into 1 planks. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to ship from this sawmill to here, because then we have a train that will go grabbing planks from here and moving them to here. And then I can also move these logs to here and have that wait at the train station, so that the train is going back to the sawmill full of logs. So it's not just an empty trip going back. And then I can also bring logs from here and set it up there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll spend the 5 million that you start with in 1850 because you've taken out a loan for 5 million. And you can take out another 5 million loan until you get further along in the game. I forget when. It might be 1900 that you get another 10 million that you can take out. You do have to pay back the loan, and that's the loan interest on this line. There are a lot of facts and figures in the game that I still haven't really figured out, but this is what I know, is that we're going to start here creating a train route from the Costa Mesa sawmill to the Irving Tools Factory. Starting with the Irving Forest to the Irving Tools Factory, so that when the train gets there, it has a bunch of logs. Down here at the bottom, you've got road, rail, water, and eventually airplanes when those get in, to be able to use. You've got different road types, and then you have a few different buildings. We will use the small country road, just like this, and we're going to use a truck station. So you can rotate the building, and as long as the forest is highlighted white, that means it's in range of this truck station. So we're going to plop this down right here. And then we're going to plop down another train station over here eventually that will be within range of the train station that we put in. We can also make a road depot, and we'll place it here. And that's where you can go in and buy vehicles. So as I said in the intro, we've got a carriage that's horse-drawn, and it has a cargo type of people. And then we have an American horse-drawn carriage, and that has a cargo type of all cargo, because that's all you start with. It'll hold 4. It can't go very fast. As the same with the carriage, because you can transport people from city to city as well, but we'll get into that later. The Costa Mesa Sawmill. We're going to do the same thing of putting a truck station within range of this forest. There. And then within range of this sawmill right there. And we can add a road depot. Trying to think forward where I might want trucks to come from, and that'll be good. So let's go ahead and set this line up. There's the line. Click on from here to here. Rename it to something that makes sense to you. And then you can buy vehicles. So I want cargo vehicles, and I want 10 of them. There's also arrows if you want to go up and down, but writing it in and hitting enter works just as fine. I'm going to buy those. I will assign all of those to go like that. Then, when I look at my line, when I look at my vehicle manager, it has all my lines and my road depots, and it shows me the vehicle that I have. And it also tells me their condition. So eventually they'll deteriorate, and we'll need to replace them. There's also a clone vehicles, so you can select a few and then clone them if you need more. If I find that this forest is producing way more than this is taking, then I can just keep adding vehicles to that line. Let's add in the train station next. So trains, buildings. You've got a passenger station and a cargo station, and then you also have the terminus station. Terminus pretty much has the building and then the train tracks coming out from it, and the other one has the station next to the tracks. I tend to build the one with the ones next to the tracks because I'm not exactly sure in the future where this stuff will go. Putting it close to there, but knowing I need to go through all this, I will put it here. Then I can go back to here, the streets, and connect here to here. Then when I click on this train station, it does indeed pull from here. So anything like the logs that come into here will go to here, and anything like the planks will be stored on the cargo platform that I have here. You can always look here at configure, and that'll show you that you can add more tracks, more platforms, you can add buildings to make it a passenger place, and other various things. We'll deal with that maybe when we have some more money, because it's going to take quite a bit to go up this hill, and then down the hill, and then through all this stuff to over here. Before we do that, let us build the train station that will go over here. Yeah, we'll go for right there. And again, we want to build a road that connects there, making sure that it does indeed connect to this. Now that we have this train station up, we can build the truck station that will go over here, that will make sure they're both white, or at least the train station is white. Right there. We can set up this line from here to here. And we can say this is forest number 2, not at, assign to the tools. Because this one is just taking these pretty much to the train station. And once you drop it off here, it sort of magically appears over here because of the whole it recognizing stuff. I will improve this line shortly by making a road that goes here that connects these two, but we're gonna hold off on that until we spend lots and lots of money on train tracks. But now we build train tracks. So I could just hold this down and, as it lags out, and connect it. Maybe it will connect. This cost over $2 million to do this line, because instead of going up and over this hill, we're going to take a tunnel through. If I had unlimited funds, great. That would look great. Everything would be kind of the same level. See if there's any bridges involved in any of this. No. So that is way too much money for $18.50. And I'm also going to have to maintain this tunnel, and it's just going to take a really long time. It starts way back here and goes all the way through there. So no, we are not going to do that. Instead, we're going to do it in shorter chunks. We'll go to here, and that'll be good. Go in a tunnel. Sorry, spinning around while that. We'll just slowly take it up this hill. Right, maybe we can't take this up the hill. So we will look at the contour lines. Can we go around this hill? Alright, looks like we will go around it. So these are the contour lines that let me know, okay, this is a hill. And that's the only hill we would be running into as we travel over here. Since I totally lost my way. Okay. So we'll take this track. You also notice numbers on there, and that's how fast a train could go on these things. So if you turn really sharp, the train has to slow down a lot. But if you instead make it a gentle curve, it doesn't have to slow down as much. Okay, I'm a little lost again. Okay, I need to head this way. By Costa Mesa. Around this hill. And into the station. So, it's not perfect. It's weird, but it works. So now I want a refund on these things that I built. I don't actually want to go into that mountain. So now I have 3 million left, and I do need to make a train depot, just like the road depot. And for those, plop them down, pick out some tracks, and connect them going both ways, just in case. Hopefully it'll let me. Right, so it's just one way this time. I then can set up a line that goes from there to there. And this is the wood train, number 1. Now, Costa Mesa, I want them, you can change with the gear what gets picked up and what doesn't. I want them, you're gonna pick up planks. And you're gonna unload logs. Then, when it heads back to Montgomery, you are gonna load the logs and you're gonna unload the planks. There we go. And that lines that up. Let's add some vehicles to this line. We want cargo. Good to make sure you actually pick the right one. And we'll make another 10 here. We'll put them on this one. There you go. Now, we have logs that are going here. We have logs that are going here to be made into planks. Let's go ahead and start the game up a little bit and let this one run a little bit. And while that's happening, we will buy our train. So our train, we don't have a whole lot of options. We have one engine, we have one passenger car, and several of the cargo cars, because they have different cargo types. We want the one that can move wood and the one that can move planks, so we don't leave stuff behind. We're pretty much gonna go for as big as we can get and as big as we can afford, which is this one. Then we're gonna put that on this. So this one is going to come out of the train depot. It's gonna go here. These guys, of course, slacking on the job, but it stops here. These guys should be picking up logs, because there's so many logs there. Anybody got logs? This guy's got logs. But he's gonna bring them down here, get changed into planks. Then all the way over here. Game's still paused. Train's gonna travel all the way over here. And these guys, they're picking up logs. This guy's got logs. He's gonna travel all the way to this one to drop off logs. So when the train gets here, there should be a bunch of logs in the station waiting for them to go. So while I still have a little bit of money, we're gonna do a street access out the back and make a road that goes from here closer to here. So but these guys already on the road, they'll probably turn around because they want to go the fastest way they can. And they'll just go into the back entrance of this place, drop it off, head out this way again. Okay, you can see these guys here are dropping off the wood, and we get money for moving the wood to here. And then over here, you can see the wood is starting to pile up on the station cargo platform. When you click on it, it tells you how much you have there. And it goes up by 4 every time one of these guys comes in, because that's how it goes. And the game is telling me, hey, you don't have very much money. And that's because this train has not yet arrived. And this train is moving on, moving on. And it's not even halfway there. So we're going to lose a lot of money the first couple years because it's already November and this train probably won't get here until March, maybe, of 1851. Once it does, though, it's going to pick up all the logs that are here that it can fit, and then it's going to turn around and take those logs back. Now, we won't get any money for this train coming here because there was nothing for it to bring, but that's kind of how the beginning of these things turn out. Okay, here comes the train. There's a bunch of logs on here. Click on the train. It picks up all that it can, which is 60, which is all that was there. And it's going to take the long trek from April of 1851 back to probably December or into 1852 back to Costa Mesa. Now, we are $262,000 in the hole because this train, as it's going along, you see the red mark. It takes upkeep to keep this up. And every once in a while, it'll pop up and say, hey, it's lost money. But then when this train eventually, many years from now, gets back to here, it's going to make lots of money because it's based on how far you move it. So I could have used this sawmill to do this and used a train and done the same thing, but it wouldn't make nearly as much money. Now it might make more money in the short term because it's going to be able to go back and forth, but in the long run, once I make money and then can put down a second track and have 2 or 3 or 4 trains going, and they'll just keep plugging away, it'll make, $1.5 million every trip. Every train makes that much every time. And we'll wait and see when this thing arrives. And here comes the train in February. Almost a year to get from train station to train station. And it drops off and it's $1.1 million. For 60 logs. So it wasn't even full. But there we go. And now it's going to take 70 planks back the direction it came. So, looking at a chart, we spent pretty much $5 million putting stuff down. And then right away, way above expenditures is the income we've made. There's a button down here for line statistics, and you can see I've got 2 sets of things that are moving logs, and they're making 50,000. It's consistent money. It's good. And then the train, which was in the red for most of the 2 years it's been running, all of a sudden it makes $1 million, and it's done. Good to go. It is now June of 1856. We still haven't made back all the money we borrowed at the beginning, but we are going to use the money that we do have to get another train set up. And I did spend our money and get another set of tracks set up. And this train is off and running. So we're going to go ahead and talk about signaling. Because you can have two trains on the same tracks because of signaling. So right now, the green line is just on one of those tracks. So there's a whole nother track that's not being used. That's because of signaling. So you need to come to here, signals. Now, signals let you say this side is a one-way, so you have to be going this way. I'm going to pause it while I do this because it costs money to have signals out. It's a $3,000 cost, and then there's upkeep, just like most everything else in the game. So we'll just go along the track and add signals to say once a train gets to the signal, the next train can move along to that next signal. And we want to have multiple trains and maybe even multiple lines on this. We need them to be able to stagger themselves so that it's not just a complete bottleneck and having everybody confused. And those are down. Train is there-ish. So we are going to go to real speed, click on the depot, click on this, and we're going to use the clone train feature just so we know they both have the same amount of capacity. So we say yes, and that creates another exact duplicate. This guy comes, he'll come over here and pick up all of the planks that are here and head out. That was a bit of a longer episode for the first episode. I wanted to get a lot of things done and hashed out, and now that it is almost 10 years of the game, we're about to hit 1860 and we have 8 million. The next episode we have a few options to go through, and we'll go over those in the next episode about what we're going to do with our a little over $8 million that we have right now. Thank you for watching. It's been Dirnan playing Transport Fever 2.